Welcome to Politricks Watch. This is Sir P. Now, today I'm going to be talking about two things. The first one will be the SOEs coming to an end. People in Spanish Town, sand catching in general, are very tense. I'm going to tell you why. The next one will be a follow-up to yesterday's video, where I was talking about the fact that when people are about to face trial, especially when they're about to face a certain penalty, and they do psychiatric evaluations, I was wondering if somebody could, well, let's just say, fake it. As in, fake being insane to escape the worst charges. You're going to want to hear about this. But before I'm going any further, I want to send a very special patron birthday shout out to none other than Shanti. Now, of course, she's no stranger to the comment section. Most people who are familiar with the movement should know her username by now. Always commenting. Also no stranger to Patreon squad. So, I know some enough people are going to be going. But from me, Shanti, from the first day you join the movement and you link me, from them time until now, you've been solid. So Shanti, wish you nothing but the best. Hope you live long and prosper. Enjoy yourself to the max. See? Big up yourself. Now, we can move into the video. SOEs coming to an end Friday the 1st. That should be tomorrow. If you're hearing this video, the day and time I drop it. What does that mean? Well, I could first judge the results. The SOEs dropped because within no time it seemed like 15 people were killed. That's how fast things get ugly in St. Catherine and Spanish Town, to be exact. Now we're hearing that since the SOEs dropped, in 14 days, 4 people have been killed. So in terms of reducing murders, quelling the madness, the SOEs worked. The SOE did its job. But I don't think many people doubt that an SOE in a specific geographic location can reduce murders. Not many people doubt that. The problem most people have with SOEs is that they only offer a short-term solution. Now, even though it's a short-term solution, in my opinion, there's still opportunities to make some gains. For example, recover weapons and pick up some wanted 87s. Now, we don't know if when the SOEs actually end, we're going to hear about these 50, 70 guns that them find, but so far it looks like that's not the case. Here is the thing. Without these whole heap of guns get found, and the whole heap of 87s them get taken into custody, and there's at least a decent case building against them, the man them go right back to square one. Because what them do is just lay low. When time SOEs drop and you ask which part the man them there, you say man gone the next parish, man a lay low, man a wait till it done, that's how it go. Then figure out how this thing work now. So residents are tense because the man them who like get the trouble, enough of them still left on the road. And when time the SOE ends, they're not going to say, well, alright, make a turn a new leaf. That's not how it works, unfortunately. So in time the government and security forces have extraordinary powers that the SOEs grant them, it have to be a case where they maximize results. Them can search places they couldn't search before. Them can spend a little longer yasso than they could before. So if them now find no guns, and we assume them and look for them, then that does show you say there is no substitute for intel. Because without intel, you're just running around in the dark. Alright, you lock up them money, but then after a certain time period, you have to let them go. Then what next? You're going to keep playing that game over and over. It's intel that make police know exactly who to target. It's intel that make police know exactly which path to go find the gun them. It's intel that make police have a case when it's time to go court. So this is why I keep stressing the point that people like the banker are C4 who actually help dismantle gangs. Because no matter what intention a police officer have, if he doesn't have the intel, right, to operate on, then not much will be getting done. And in my opinion, that is where Jamaica has been lacking in the quote-unquote fight against crime and violence. Which he said there's been a whole heap of police that are very willing to use brute force. There's a whole heap of police we're willing to fire off 100 rounds off 87, but when it comes down to intel, that's how things start lock. You need somebody who will tell you, say, yo, no man, we're not wasting the time go over this. Over this here if you go. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, there are laws in place that prevent the security forces from holding on to people beyond a certain amount of time, regardless of their reputation. That is how the law works. You could be bigger crime, you could be dog paw, in no matter. If you just go hold on for a man because you hear some man are bad, but then you don't have nobody to actually stand by it, don't have nobody to point him out in our ID parade, then I have to let go. So this latest SOE is coming to an end. As far as most people whom I talk to so far are concerned, they fully expect that the war is going to continue, both with Klansman internal war and one other internal war. The security forces, the government, I don't know if they've learned right from the previous SOE them, and them now have some new tactic that they're going to roll out after this one end. We have to just wait and see how that turn out. But right now, the people them in a Spanish town need to feel confident. People lose them confidence. Enough people get caught up in the whole, the place are cool, things get quiet, right now. The market, they can walk around freely, and the bus park and up a man that did like one time. Enough people did get carried away into that. Because it's easy to get carried away. When it's 6 months pass, 9 months pass, and all for shooting now go on, it's easy to say yes, things have changed. But then, as we say recently, just 1 week, one bad week, and things get ugly again. So we have to watch and see how this one play out. But as usual, we'll be keeping a close eye on it over here, son. Now, let me get into the follow-up to yesterday's video. I was asking the question, when somebody is under psychiatric evaluation, I wonder if you can fake it, because it is a potential that you might literally lose your life. Then there is no limit to where you'd be willing to go to beat the system. So being the person that I am, who question almost everything I see, I was thinking, alright, yes, I'm going to meet with some experts, but can an expert be deceived? A lot of people contact me, email me, message me on IG. Many of the people them actually belong to the field of psychology. Many of them are psychiatrists. And them say there are tests in place. There are things you can do to know if somebody is faking it. But again, being the person that I am, I was still curious. I decided to venture off to do my own research to see if there are some cases of people actually tricking the experts, because people deceive polygraph tests. Some people call it a lie detector test. Them hook you up and put on all kind of wire upon it and they monitor this rate and that rate, and people beat it. So surely they can deceive somebody who's standing in front of them, asking them some questions and trying to monitor not just what they're saying, but what they're doing. Human beings are very cunning, especially when their life is literally on the line. So some of the people who were contacting me were telling me about the various tests they can do. Most of them appear acronyms, SI this and SA. I don't even remember some of them, but there's some tests you can do. There's also feedback from members of the community and family and them thing there, who they might also ask some questions to try and get to understand if you're insane. Once again, if people want to spare the life of a family member or somebody in the community them like, they are not going to walk into a psychiatric evaluation and say, yes, this man is sane. They're going to go in there and say, from I know him, he's been acting spooky. From I know him do all kind of weird things. Sometimes I see him out there talk to a banana tree. So I wanted to look on some case studies to see if it's been done. I tried to look at Jamaican case studies, but as you know, Jamaica does not exactly document crime that well. If you really want to get the case them detailed and down to the nitty gritty, you usually have to look to Uncle Sam because for them case them public and they can easily be found. And if you look on your screen, you will see arguably the most infamous case of somebody pretending to be insane to escape the courts. A man by the name of Vincent the Chin Gigante. This man was a Don. This man was a mafia boss. But him did want to convince the court say he was not mentally fit to stand trial. This man deceived psychologists. This man deceived every expert they put in front of him for over 30 years. 3 decades. It's right there on your screen. They never catch him until he was in his 70s, and I confess him confess. You want to hear how far him carried? Listen to this. He stepped up his public performance of mental incapacity, wandering around Greenwich Village in his pajamas and bathrobe, talking to parking meters and urinating in the streets. And as you can see below that, his family was an integral part of the ruse. Them tell the doctors them, say, from them know him, he's been of unsound mind. Of course your family is going to help you escape jail. It's very rare that family come out and say, no man, allow him at hell, lock him up. Very rare. Look at the lower part of your screen. It says psychologists and other mental health professionals attested to Gigante's condition, claiming say he's been in and out of psychiatric hospitals. All of them testify that this man is clearly of unsound mind. He was faking it. When the judge asked him, so this whole time you been faking it? He said yes, I him confess. By this point, him get so old that he was close to dying. 3 decades this man pretend. Him beat every single expert that came in front of him. Another famous case is a man of them called the Hillside Strangler, right? Kenneth Bianchi. This one is almost hilarious if it never involved murder. This man did kill a number of victims, and him claim say he was of unsound mind. Him claim say he had a second personality, and it's the second personality called Steve who did the killing. Them calling an expert. It's on the screen, underlined in red. A man by the name of John Watkins, who was an expert on multiple personalities and amnesia. When he assessed the Hillside Strangler, he came to the conclusion that this man was indeed suffering from multiple personalities, and is when him in the other personality, what him call Steve, him kill the victims them, and therefore he should not face the most serious charges that he was up against. The prosecution say them no buy that, so them go for a second expert. Again, you can go do all your research on your own. Don't take my word for it. So after him deceive John Watkins, them go for a second opinion from another expert, and this man was Dr. Allison, and he was even more convinced than Dr. Watkins. Them even do something where you call hypnosis. You know how him beat the hypnosis? The man go buy the same psychology book them and read them and learn up about the process them use. So I know of my answer. Of course people can deceive psychiatrists and psychologists. Based on what I've read, I don't think the average person can. I don't think, the regular man off the street I could just walk in and want evaluation and just, deceive the expert and walk out. But clearly, people who are very dedicated, people who are very cunning, like the mafia boss, the Chin, or somebody like the Hillside Strangler, then them can pull it off. Anyway, Agent Squad, big up on yourself. Yeah, you don't know, more live. Ultra Squad, stay circling. Bless.